Right, this is a video for a Honda CR-V. This is a 2.2 litre EX diesel, registered HW09EWY. Mileage at the start of the road test is 43,656 miles. The reason we do the road tests, as I say on all of them, basically is because we're now selling to customers all over the near continent and the extremes of the UK. We just want customers to see the vehicles in operation prior to coming to see us, so we can give you any feedback on the car prior to coming. We personally feel it's right that if you're going to invest this amount of money in a car, the least we can do is just to show you the car in operation. Worth pointing out that this road test is done on exactly the same roads as road tests are done from our premises, so it should be representative clearly of what you'll experience yourself. What I try and do on these videos is to do it in the same kind of sequence of events that you'll do it yourself. And so I'll start with the engine of the car. Clearly a very low mileage Honda with a beautiful service history, so I'm not anticipating any major issues. And starting with the engine, a good place, as I said, i-CDTi diesel engine, absolutely sweet as a nut. It's a beautiful, beautiful example of one of these. No warning lights on the car, rock steady idle there. Clutch in, clutch out, clutch in, clutch out, and there's no change in engine note, no vibrations coming back through from the clutch itself. Engine pulls really, really sweetly. Loads of power, loads of grunt, producing all the power it should have done. That's certainly how it feels to me. And as I said, there's no warning lights on the dashboard relating to the engine or anything else for that matter. Engine then drives through to the clutch, which bites absolutely beautifully, and put my foot down quite hard and it's perfect. The clutch actuation is nice and smooth. It's a beautifully manufactured mechanism on them, and that's all very, very nice in operation. Clutch then goes through to this 6-speed gearbox, which is an absolutely classic Honda gearbox. Again, this example, the gear lever gaiter is in superb condition, which isn't always a given on these. It is the only kind of weak area on the car. It's just they do wear quite horribly sometimes if you've got like bracelets hanging down and catching on them. But the gear lever itself, its operation is absolutely as it was when it was new. Incredibly tight and precise. Really nice high mounted gear lever up here, and it just makes operating the car incredibly simple. But what's lovely about it, it's got a lovely mechanical feel to it as well. We've never ever touched, I don't want to tempt fate, but we've never touched a manual gearbox on a Honda CR-V. They're incredibly tough units, but even a Honda can wear, but I cannot detect an ounce of wear in that. So in terms of engine, gearbox, clutch, I cannot fault it. Absolutely superb. Driving on the car now, car tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibration through the steering wheel at all. It feels incredibly tight. Even things like the steering wheel feel just so fresh and beautifully looked after. It's just that there's no wear in it. It's almost like someone's worn gloves driving the car. But the steering itself exhibits, again, there's no slop in it at all. There's no wandering, kind of looseness. And sometimes you get with the car, even with mileage like this, it's got a worn track rod end, or a bit of play in the steering column, then it manifests itself in just a slightly lazy steering. Not unsafe, but just loses its original sharpness. And I can't genuinely feel any wear in that at all. Suspension of the car, equally, just riding utterly superbly. You can hear it going over the bumps in a normal way, but there's no aftershocks, there's no hint of any wear in it again. There's, again, on cars which have been given kind of a hard life, you might find a little bit of chattering underneath from, anti-roll bar links are the favourite ones, suspension top mounts on the shock absorbers, and you get, rubber bush might perish and you just hear a little bit of a sort of metallic clonking. And again, there's nothing. You hear it going over the bumps, but there's nothing after that. It's absolutely superb. What I'll do on the straight bit of road, I'm just going to give the brakes a bit of a shove, just make sure there's no one behind me. So, wow, yeah, really strong brake pedal, no pulsing or vibration back through the brake pedal itself. It nose dives down dead straight, so it suggests that, you know, all's good underneath there as well. So yeah, very, very confidence inspiring. Again, as I drive along at speed, I tend to listen out for kind of wind noises that shouldn't be there, where you might have had a you know, poorly fitted windscreen or something that isn't sealed quite right. Not that we ever have an issue with them, but this drives with the refinement exactly on the level it should be. It's utterly, you know, it's nice and quiet and very smooth cruiser. Looking inside the car now, we've not cleaned this car. It's come straight from a main dealer to us, and it is in absolutely superb condition. There's obviously the odd minor sign of wear in the car, but really when you look at the leather seats, it just doesn't look like they've been sat in. It's in striking condition, it really is. You know, the plastics internally here, which, to be fair, because they are, you know, they really are a family favourite, these cars. But you do find with kids aren't always the most careful. They put their feet up on the dashboards and they scratch the plastics. So it's quite common to see the areas up here quite badly marked, where kids have just put their trainers on top and scraped along them. But it just looks so fresh, and that's very hard to get across on the videos. You know, some aren't as good as this, clearly, but this is a really wonderful example. Really good dashboards anyway, obviously top EX spec, so you've got this lovely big sat-nav system up there. You know, it's kind of old school, it's very easy to use, it's all touchscreen, and as you can see with the display there, working absolutely perfectly. Behind there you've got access then to your CD player as well, and again it opens and shuts exactly as it should. Air conditioning system, dual zone, so side to side, your auto function on it as well, and that is blowing out absolutely ice cold air. And given the fact that it's about 23 degrees outside and very muggy indeed, you know, it's fighting against pretty hot air, so the air conditioning is in very, very, very nice order indeed. But what's lovely is the fact that all these controls are just so well manufactured. You know, the quality of the these little buttons. I read an article recently in a car magazine talking about kind of German versus Japanese build quality, and the Germans do what I think is they do a very good impression of build quality. But anyone who knows things like, you know, high quality kind of camcorders and that kind of stuff, or cameras, sort of Canon and Nikon, that kind of stuff, you know, all this switchgear here just has that beautiful actuation, which will work not just now but in another 10 years time absolutely beautifully. The German stuff, the plastics come off the top, the buttons start to wobble about a bit. They're not as well manufactured as people like to believe they are. These are miles better built in the real world, and I don't care what anybody says about that. Coming across the main dashboard then, conventional Honda dashboard, lovely and easy to read. So you've got, you know, symmetrical big gauges for rev counter and speedo there. All the pixelation on all the other displays are absolutely perfect. Temperature gauge reading a third of the way up, which is exactly the point you want to see it on any Honda car. And again, just the crispness of all the plastics here, it's such lovely order. Coming to the main, you obviously have multifunction steering wheel, so you've got obviously audio top left, cruise control top right, which I'll try in a second, and then voice activation functions on the bottom left here. You've also got auto lights and auto wipers on the car, so they're all good. In fact, I'll just give the wipers a blast just to make sure they're not smearing, which is a pet hate of mine. And no, they're absolutely perfect, so that they're in good order. But it really is in fabulous condition. If you don't know already, I'm sure you do, that obviously the Honda uses what they call an intelligent four-wheel drive system, which is utterly bulletproof. We've never ever touched it. So basically what it means is Honda worked out quickly that the vast majority of driving will be done in exactly this way, which is you know, just on normal roads, and you know, so you'd be driving in two-wheel drive, front-wheel drive like a conventional car, and that means your tyre wear is is lessened by obviously just running in two-wheel drive than, you know, compared to permanent four-wheel drive cars. Clearly you've got less mechanical wear, less friction, so you've got, you know, fuel economy is better as a result of it, and long-term durability. It's just such a brilliant system. When I tow a caravan which takes it up to the maximum tow weight, you know, with a CRV of nearly 2 tons, You know, and we've gone across some pretty soft pitches over the years and not even come close to getting stuck, because what happens is as you put your foot down, the front wheels start to spin as it would in a front wheel drive car, and it then automatically actuates the four-wheel drive, engages the rear axle, and it's a smooth transition. You just get this sudden grip and you just go. It's a brilliant system, and then it turns itself off pretty much straight away as soon as it realises it doesn't need it anymore. So, you know, it's not hardcore farmer green laning, but it's more than adequate for most people's four-wheel drive needs. And you know, and it's a very tough and very reliable system. As I said, we just never ever touch them. We've sold, you know, literally thousands of them now. So it's, you know, it's been a very good test with some very high mileages. But I have to say, it's been a real pleasure to drive this car. You know, I drive lots of them. They're all good, but every now and again you get in one which just feels spot on. And to be fair to this car, the owners who kept this vehicle kept it in stunning condition, and it drives exactly as it looks. If I've missed anything out on the video, please, I apologise clearly, but you know, don't hesitate, do give us a call. But based on what I've experienced so far, you know, this is a really lovely example.